start. I hope it's not too dark on YouTube. Yeah, I might have to turn my light on. It's all dark. Ominous. Let's bring it to light. Haha, do you see what I did there? Okay, so today I have to maybe organize my set again. Today's exciting. It's May Day. So I'm going to wait till a couple of people get online so we can all talk about the same thing at the same time. Maybe I should have started this video behind. It's already 30 seconds, sorry. So if you're watching on Rumble, thank you. They're really messing with my numbers over there, big time, and not really posting any comments. So today's topic, it's a very exciting day for me personally. I think the number 5 brings a lot of change. So even though it will be May will be the second month in our calendar moving forward. But just to inspire everybody to a new timeline, things are really coming out about the election. And I'm going to get flash green screen while I talk about all this stuff too. On my YouTube, I might even get shut off. That's why I'm running my one that I'm going to upload to Rumble. So, and maybe if it's not too long, this video is not too long, I can upload it to Telegram where everybody can watch it too. So as you may have heard, the First Republic Bank was bought up by JP Morgan. To my knowledge, I thought JP Morgan was already on the way down, but this is me living in another timeline, okay? So it's kind of hard to differentiate sometimes. So now I'll explain to you kind of how my mind has been working for the last few years because the information that I've presented and how I've presented it in charts. So I'll just call all my chart videos timelines for ease and flow, okay? So those are my timelines that I created for knowledge to share with you, okay? And obviously it wasn't my knowledge, it was just truth passed along. So today, I want to talk about, somebody had mentioned why on my Facebook Live. So why did somebody tell me 8 years ago? How did somebody tell me 8 years ago exactly what would be happening today? And before I even got a chance to respond back, a lady commented, Raven's been telling you that this has already happened. And I'm like, okay, so maybe we need to do a refresher. That's why I'm doing this video. Because just to remind everybody of what we've all been kind of talking about, but bring everybody right to present moment and why being in the present is so important. Manifesting and co-creating in the present is super, super important. Okay? So here's my little chart, and I'm sure you've seen me do this one before, timelines and energy. We are in now time right now. So the past is in this loop, and the present, or future, I don't even know why I put that in there. Sorry, let me fix that. See how prepared I am? Future. So programmed. So, and the future is there. So if we stay in now time, and this has worked for me personally, and you can do it yourself. We're presently here, but often we live in this space here or this space here, okay? So many people live in the past and dwell on the past and the energy of the past and everything. And like you keep rereading a book or a chapter in your life, okay, this happened to me, I'm telling this story, it's a victim. I was a victim in this role. And that's how I see everybody in the 3D here is slaves. We're all slaves. Okay? Now, in our now time, for me, for the last few years especially, I've been always trying to break out of this, what my past is dictated. Like, based on racism, wealth, you name it, doesn't matter. I've never, or illness, oh, you know, I have this or had that or whatever. I try not to say those words because that brings me back into the past position. So the timelines that we see right now, and where is my other chart here? I drew this the other day. are like doors, okay, of information. So one of the doors of information will be opening up for the public right now is the 2020 election. Okay? The results, the whole wide world knows except for North America what went on. So the North American media has been jumped around right now. We're seeing a lot of movement, CEOs stepping down from BBC. I think I read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong on this video, please, that Trump's friend bought CNN. So maybe we're going to hear truth from that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all coming out on Twitter. That's why it says look to Twitter, because the truth is coming out on Twitter. So let's just say we're opening this door of information, the results, and they get announced. And we all know that Trump won and he's the best president ever. Okay, so we've been living up here on just the knowing, okay? But when the rest of the world and North America knows, there's only going to be a skyrocket of information now, okay? Because the election, when it happened, got us all like, yeah, Trump won, 100 million people or 80 million people voted for Trump, whatever. And then we see the clown in office and a lot of people's consciousness went down. I know mine did. I'm like, this show cannot keep going on. Come on, people, come on. But it's all for good reason. It's all for good reason. So every door within this swirling loop of information leads to another change of consciousness and another timeline being exposed. So here's the perfect example of how do we know? Well, let's go in the past. We know he won the election. So in our mind, he's the president here. But in reality, we're waiting for that information to come out. Okay? So that's literally a timeline that has been manipulated so that the rest of the world can be caught up to what we know. So this comes into now time. Does that make sense? So that timeline can be really exposed and create a bigger energy of stuff. It's the same way that we've all, let's use something negative, satanic ritual abuse. How many of us went through like the opposite? We went for a while and they're like, well, wait, we were chosen to wake up during this time and spread the information, and then we all became warriors, and then our collective consciousness went up. So some of us that lasted, depends on who you were. Some of it only took like a couple days of really being mad after you heard the whole story and realized how deep and dark and depraved this world really was, like as if we didn't think that already. But when the reality of it hit, yeah, everybody's consciousness went down, but it had to be at different levels. You see, everybody's consciousness had to be exposed at different levels, different times, because if it was done all at once in 2020, that would have affected the future collective consciousness, okay? So as people were waking up and opening their own timelines to what information they wanted to learn, where they wanted to stay in that vibration, some people were like, okay, I know all about SRA, slam, I don't need to know anymore. Because either it was integrated into their unfortunate DNA in this physical timeline where they've experienced it, so they know all the stuff around it. They don't need to be re-triggered because they work through those triggers. They just know it's there and know it's being exposed, or they're helping expose these timelines, okay? So for me in my life, I've always, especially in the last 3 years, it was, I think, always my job to kind of explain how this stuff is working in my head, because my whole life I've always thought this way, but I could never explain it to anybody or have anybody attach them to my vibration or my timeline of my knowledge. But yet when this happened and the veil was, lifted off and there was no there is no veil. So everybody is where they're at and stuff. And it's only amplified with energy, right? And the more we have light being graced upon us in higher vibrations, the more the dark wants to run. Think about just plain old vampires. What do they do? See, when I said vampires, it went green screen. But think about that. They don't like being in the light. These are dark creatures. So I believe slowly, and we're almost there. So I think we all had to go through major timeline shifts. So some of us, and what I mean by that is you open a door, know the stuff, okay, and become a warrior of that information, but not linger in that energy. Not still get effed off by it, not still get triggered by it. You know it, but it doesn't make you sad and bring you to tears like it used to. You're still compassionate, you're still empathetic, but you see the big picture of the future is coming here. So in my dreams, I see all of this now. Like, this is just nuts. It's almost like every picture that Luke posts is like, hey, I already saw that. How is that possible? Well, when we think about just us, ourselves, our people, me, I can take myself back to Costa Rica, back to that little peaceful house in the jungle, and sit in the pool in the big blow up thing, and I was all by myself, and I loved it. So I can take my mind to that past right there, but I'm living right here. So why wouldn't it be possible to take your mind to the future, right? Because we are so powerful. So let me just throw a few things out there in my thoughts again. I'm going to bring out my flat earth map. Everybody, oh, flat earth doesn't happen, whatever. So we're on a magnetic plate here. Okay, this is a big magnet. And everybody's seen those FE videos, free, and then NE, I'll get energy. Anyways, so the energy is kind of swirling like this through the magnetic think of sacred geometry patterns if you look at it from above, right? I'm not even going to try and draw, but if you looked at it from above, it would be like the North Star, sacred geometry, blah, 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 blah. And so if you think of us just logically moving through the higher vibrations and the change in the patterns on this magnetic plate, like we're all like those bouncing grains of sand. So every time we close a timeline in my mind, we go to another vibration of frequency and hop there. And then there's other people there in that timeline. And then we hop to another place and there's other people in that timeline. And when the whole harmonic collective consciousness is thinking the same thing, or a lot of people are, we're all talking about it. So it brings us like right into the now timeline. So the fourth or fifth, I think it was the fifth video I ever did, was talking about, and I'm talking about all of these in a big circle with reason. So, because time is an illusion, number one, so we have to keep remembering that. So I talked about when we die, we meet God here, and this is our past, this is our future, and we our old meat suits, or I don't believe we die anymore. So, but our energy, our last 3D life, this is what would happen. We would meet God here and decide if we'd learned our lessons and then go into so every old life is back here. All of our Akashic records and stuff are back here. How many times we've been here and in this timeline. So, that's why I honestly believe that it's as easy as when the collective consciousness raises to this fifth dimension, then we actually have the loved ones in now time with us because we're in their timeline up here in this higher vibration. That's why we can see heaven on earth. But I'm just using this vibration like this scale. Sorry, not here. But like this scale. So we're here right now in lower vibrations of greed, guilt, debt, jealousy, anger, triggered people, pointing fingers, mudslinging, whatever you want to call it, trying to make somebody less than. And all of that stuff is still going on. Truthers calling out other truthers, people getting mad, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're still existing in here. You have to get through your own truths in your own meat suit to get to that higher vibration. So you have to realize in your own vibration what is holding you back from manifesting the higher vibrations to ascend. Okay, to ascend. So these are not in your realm anymore. And the way I used to think of it is like, just simply we're the people that are awake now are kind of like ascended in a lot of their vibration with knowledge because they've overcome the truth. So there's a lot of love, unconditional love. That's what this is. Unconditional love. Okay, yeah, we didn't really like it, but there's no guilt, shame, or whatever vibration in here. It's just love, knowing that we are all going to be free, healed, and in a better timeline. So it's the working through of your own personal traumas and timelines. And some of those, I will be honest, cannot be resolved right this moment in this linear timeline, how everybody looks at it, because they're serving a greater good of the Great Awakening. I really do believe that. And this is all in God's time. So every time somebody comes to a new place of love and awareness for themselves, it increases your vibration, but it also collectively increases the vibrations around you. So right now, I literally have, and I've mentioned this before on numerous shows, and I know the more I go through periods of reflection and time and in my past and knowing of what I want for the future and what I see for the future, there first of all isn't money involved. It's the weirdest thing. It's just not a thing in my timeline. And the other thing is that there's no talking. There's nobody having to do a show or explaining. And that might be a reason why 98% of truthers are going to disappear. What's the purpose? Maybe the 2% of the truthers will just become the ambassadors, Or maybe those truthers just serve their purpose for this timeline and then it's over, We don't have to do that, or I don't know, we choose a different timeline to participate in. So anyways, with that being said, I'm just going to do a quick card reading and then be on my way because it's kind of a short video today. So it's a celebration. I don't think, this is what I was going to mention, personally thinking out loud. I don't think the coronation of the turd is going to happen because of Nostradamus saying something. I'm going to go look that up again. I think it was just in the back of my mind thinking that. And again, future proves past. So this is what all of that means, is that how do we know that this has happened is this, where's my little thing? Here. This is on an 8-year loop. So in 8 years, which is interesting because literally 8 years ago, I started writing a book about all of this stuff. But it was like a king, raven, and a girl seeing both of the stories. So it was 3 different stories. But now I look at it and it was all one book about right now. Mind blowing. So I think that's why people can see. We all have the ability to be clairvoyant, whatever, all the clairs. And we all have intuition. It's just some people are tapped into that vibration and that timeline more than others. Okay, that's all. That's all that it means. Some people are awake to that knowledge or have been gifted that at birth, or that was their soul contract. So, and please keep in mind this too about now time. If somebody's recently died or is about to pass, will they be dead that long? Something to think about, right? Because I have a lot of loved ones. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to see these people. But then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I can just go back to the times that I had the best time with them and I'm there. So it's kind of like that. You know, I could never get over some of my friends. I had one friend, one ex-boyfriend. He was a really awesome guy. Not jealous, never got sad when like even his best friend passed. And I was like, what is wrong with that guy? But he was like, no, I just go right to the time where I was happy with them. And then I just remember that. And I keep remembering that. And I'm like, it's a good way to look at it. So that's just my personal opinion. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So we have the butterfly, which is beauty, getting a gift. Then we have the bard, which is music, poetry, myth, history, the enchantment of storytelling, which is kind of what I'm doing now, and feelings and emotions. So a lot of beauty in some storytelling coming out, I think. That's what it looks like to me. And a lot of change on our feelings and emotions. That's what we've been talking about this whole time in this whole show, actually, is, yeah, I think that's amazing. The timelines is this. That's the bard. It's all about the timelines. So when you're feeling really negative about the past, you're not really giving yourself the gift of now time. That's how I look at this. You know, or if you feel really great about how everything's happening, you see the gift in it all. So there's always, I think, multiple meanings, but that's how I look at it too. So just be aware of your story and your feelings and emotions around your story. Become the champion of that story. Because I do believe we were all called to do whatever it is that we're doing, in whatever meat suit you're in. So, and yes, some people have now challenges. Some people had earlier challenges. Some people went through lifetimes of challenges. Just don't be too judgmental on anybody else's soul contract. I try not to get into other people's timelines too much, not just because of it's none of my business usually. I'm like the worst question asker too. My neighbor's like, well, did you ask him this, and this? And I'm like, nope, I don't ask people questions like that. I've never been that person. I'm like, let's just have a conversation and whatever flows, flows. I don't know. Like, you know, that's just how things are. But I think now we're ready. We're all ready to see the truth come out in a way that's going to be such a gift, I think, to our family. I really hope so. I really hope so. But no, it's their free will that is preventing them from being awake. Like, you can literally show somebody a picture of, like, Michelle Obama as a man and a woman, and they're like, no, don't see it. I don't know why you're showing me that picture. They'll be like, I don't, nope. Cognitive dissonance. Woo! Don't talk like that. No, it's not going to happen. So that's their own journey. That's their own free will. So there is nothing stopping this information. And I think somewhere soon, maybe the Brunson brothers case, everybody thinks it's a nothing burger, but what do you think might trigger the boop is the fact that they're not releasing the information about that. So if you don't know what that case is pending on, the fact that they didn't stop the after the election was held, they didn't. There was 100 Congress people that asked to stop due to the oath, and they didn't stop. So it has to do with actually the process of the Constitution, not the election itself. So that's why it's a big woohoo. And people in Canada, please, please calm your jets. Calm your jets about all of the turd and what the turd is saying on TV. Okay? Now, I'm just going to point something out. Oh, let me bring my little chart back because I love pointing at my charts. This is, say, what just happened. Turd announcing he's going to change our broadcasting, la 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 la. No, that's not even a door that's open, people. That's just like writing on the door. This is bullshit. When the person that opens the door, ooh, what they did, Norm Traversy, he bought the C11 bill, which is the broadcasting. He actually copyrighted, I believe. So he's the owner. And he's also a judge, an actual, I guess, judge in common law courts. I guess, I don't know. I'm not 100% on that, but I know he's affected change two major ways here in Canada. He copyrighted the gun bill in 2020, I believe. He bought it for $50. So no one can change those laws, period. That's what happens. So the turd can say, oh, I'm going to do this. But what's actually going on behind doors is either a person taking that person to court, or there's documents behind it. Say, for example, let's open this door, the Hunter Biden and the custody arrangement. Well, the news is saying, well, Hunter Biden's gone through a definite financial crisis lately, and he can't pay child support for this 4-year-old. Why? That's the question. So the bullshit on the door is Hunter Biden can't pay child support. What's behind the door is the truth. So that's how the timelines are getting changed. And a lot of people know that information. So we're only going to see the collective consciousness going up from now on, because power in truth vibrations, let me repeat this over and over. Power in truth vibrations holds, and love holds way more energy than 3D vibes. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, 100%. And I'm sticking to it. So I guess Phil's going to have an awesome show tonight. I might tune in, not 100%. Not 100%. That's for my friend Tanya. I miss her. Hilarious. So many funny things happened when we were in Ottawa on our trip. We have so many phrases. Period. Anyways, it's been a blast. I'm going to sign off for the day. Keep your feelings and emotions in check. Manifest this. Like, I don't think we can imagine what's happening. I literally think it's going to be a matter of one day we have nothing, and the next day we have everything. It's a transfer of wealth. That's what I think is happening. So how that happens, we have to have the truth first, I think. So however this looks, it's still all happening. I'm excited. And I hope you are too. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who's watching my shows and commenting. I'm really grateful. And thank you to the people who have just supported me. Unconditional love the whole entire time. You know, and maybe not always sat in my vibration, but, you know, we're all in this together. So stop calling people out. Stop being mad at people. Understand that your timeline is really what you're manifesting. So if you're still angry with anybody or any one thing, or why isn't this person, or whatever, why are you mad at other people? So that's it. That's the easiest way I'm going to say that. Why are you mad? So, yeah, Greg's been dumping some truths about why why the fake king is doing his thing. I haven't watched any of the videos, to be honest. yeah, he's opening more doors as to why the coronation is whatever. And honestly, that was the funniest thing I saw on the big bullshit channel was they're doing the whole coronation thing, and it looks like they got cadets with wrinkled shirts and running shoes to do the rehearsal. Like, it's just such a gong show. Like, it's so dumb. So dumb. Like, so dumb. I can't even. But unfortunately, looking at 3D stuff from time to time or hearing it is in my matrix. So, yes, DJT is in Ireland. Yeah, and yes, this is why I think, like, I'm just gonna point out with every person, including RD, opened a door. So, days before the Trudeau announced the Emergency Act, someone else did it. Why? Because that other person's dead. So it's just about changing vibrations. I've always looked at information giving. Here's the information. Here's what it is. Now you guys discern on your own. This is what this person's saying. You can like it or lump it. This is all they're saying. And if they've resonated 80% of me with my vibrations, I feel like it's necessary to kind of stick with the vibration. That's all. So sometimes that vibration changes where it doesn't serve the timeline of me exposing more information, more timelines. So I have to move on to other timelines. I think, like any journalist or truther or whatever you want to call content creators. So that's about it. So that's my story for reals now. I'm going to sign off. Everybody have a wonderful day. If you live in a beautiful sunny place, go out and get some grounding on. However, stay away from red anthills, which fire ants, I encountered those the other day. Youch. That was no fun. So, yes, everybody have a great day. Yeah, don't fear. No more fear. Fear, angry, all of that. No, that's not now my now time. Nope. Push it away. Send it light and love. Thank the person for the lesson and move it along. So that's all we can do right now. This is a great awakening, and exposing is all what's coming out. Is literally, it's all happening. So, and just another thought. On May 5th, if you go May 5/5/23, that's 555. Just saying. Okay, bye now.